Hey, this is Chuck Seark, your host of the Lancaster Buzz podcast. And today we are doing the podcast via Zoom as we're practicing our physical distancing from our guests on the podcast. As we're in the middle, it's March 30th, 2020 right now. And with a lot of the virtual conversations that are going on, we've had some discussions with folks that are actually leveraging some pretty awesome technology when it comes to advertising in the age of social media and smartphones. The Google and Apple boxes we carry around in our pockets everywhere, and the functionality that gives us for not only businesses to reach consumers, but consumers to make an informed choice on who it is that they want to do business with. So today we have two gentlemen on the podcast from myquicksave.com, and we have with us today Christian Chappelle and John Turns. Hey guys, if you wouldn't mind, take a minute to introduce yourselves and we'll get rolling.
All right, very good. So John Turns, I lead strategy at a local software development company called Saison. We've partnered with QuickSave in order to bring their solution to market, as well as a bunch of other local businesses in the area. We do software development solutions, everything from websites to enterprise applications, and developing mobile apps, and specifically where mobile apps are leading consumers, which is the importance of engagement with your audience. And so that's what we do at Saison, and that's how we got introduced to Christian.
And with that being said, my introduction to Saison, I was in the need for a new development team because my old development team, they weren't really able to bring it quite to the level we were looking to be at. So finding John's team, Chuck, over at Saison, we were able to take QuickSave from a very simplistic built app up to more of an engaging application that has geospatial technology that's built into it and augmented reality. So that's something we wanted to bring to the market. Chuck's team and John's team were able to do that for us. I'm the founder of QuickSave. QuickSave was basically built for local businesses to market with each other, kind of play off of each other's audiences, and a lot of people eat. So obviously we have a lot of restaurants on the app currently.
So tell us a little bit about, when people think of coupons, right, they think of either, the Val pack that they get in the mail, or they're looking through, the newspaper on Thursdays. It was typically the advertising day, and it's chock full of all these coupons. And there's been a big rage around the country in recent years for coupon clipping and people that have made they're able to stock up and get paid money back on coupons. And that's not really what we're talking about. But let's kind of dive into what is MyQuicksave and how does it work?
Absolutely. Well, jumping off the Val pack and the clippers and the things that are out there currently, they're fantastic companies for direct mail distribution. I'm not going to knock that at all. I've always taken a thing where thank you very much for sending me leads every month, but at the same time, I'm saying those work as well. So QuickSave is more of a complementary tool that, let's say that you're doing a Val pack campaign and your company can only afford to do that maybe once every 2 quarters of the year, once a quarter. You have to fill that time in with something that does the same type of thing. So that's why QuickSave is there for the consumers and for the businesses, because those times that the company can't afford it, it's not in their budget. QuickSave is a subscription-based model built for a locally owned small business up to companies like Texas Roadhouse. We have those in the network as well. So you look at it, you're bringing people in from your coupon books, your things that go out there, and you let them know that you also participate in QuickSave. And what happens with the business, they're like, well, we can push these out while we're doing the clipper, while we're doing Valpak, and kind of offer different things to have that consumer come back in more times than just one time a month or two times a month. Some people go to Starbucks 3 times a day. Well, how can a person come to a coffee shop, 2 to 3 times a day, or our pizza shop once a day for lunch, or something of that nature? You're trying to keep those users engaging in what your brand is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing and why we wanted to partner with QuickSave is really focused on small business community. Advertising in traditional ways can be very expensive, and you can't really measure how many times people are coming into your establishment unless they bring the actual physical coupon. And if they say, oh, I forgot my coupon, sometimes businesses do it anyway, but there's no way to really track it. And so having a mobile app that not only builds a network of businesses locally, whether it's for tourism or whether it's your local everyday citizen, living in the Lancaster community, in the Harrisburg community, QuickSave is really able to drive traffic and then be able to have you measure what the return on investment is for advertising. And what I was excited about is that Christian came to us with a really unique proposition of, hey, while people are in these stores that are on the QuickSave network, how do we create further engagement for maybe non-traditional service businesses? And that's where we were really able to implement kind of the next generation of technologies via mobile application in order to create not only an additional advertising revenue stream for QuickSave, but also an additional opportunity for engagement for patrons while they're in an establishment kind of twiddling their thumbs, waiting for their food to come out.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about the benefits for, right? So we've got benefits for small businesses. They're able to get more data based on their customers' usage and track things a little bit better than the paper model, right? Paper clips and the spot and the cash register and those type of things. But from a consumer standpoint, right? How does my QuickSave really help the consumer from the basis of being able to save more or have a better experience at the businesses that are participating in my QuickSave?
A lot of the coupons that we run, we try to get the best of show. So you might not be able to find that coupon in a Clipper or Valpak or your local magazine that comes out. A lot of times, even with Fuddruckers in Lancaster, we do a buy one get one free hamburger. You can find that occasionally in the Clipper. We run that continuously, so that's one of the best of show, or whatever you want to call it. Some of the pizza companies we work with, like JoJo's Pizza in Hummelstown, we are their only couponing source, and which is pretty nice. He used to put his coupons in his menu and do other Valpaks and things of that nature, which is cool. But he's been able to transition over the past 2 years into utilizing QuickSave. That's the only platform he uses for coupons. You can see one of their testimonials on our website also. They started with us. They were one of our first locations 2.5 years ago. And in 2.5 years, they get between 3 to 4 redemptions per day, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's really good. So they have, a consumer can only use the coupon once. So there's different offers that are there. But we were able to help them out, save them a lot of money by, switching to Geico. No, I'm just kidding. But switching to QuickSave. But yeah, so if that kind of goes into that direction, if you had any more questions about that, Chuck or John, if you want to interject.
Well, yeah, I think the value for consumers is not only is it, kind of the best deal available, it's continually available. If you don't have the coupon, it's as quick as getting your phone out. And what's really unique about the model, when we developed this, Christian's like, hey, I want this free for everybody, for consumers. And so it doesn't cost you anything other than a spot on your phone. You download it, You see what's around you. Saison specializes in location data, and so it opens up restaurants close to you or deals close to you. You see kind of what you want to look for, or what you're in the mood for, and then you have a coupon that you wouldn't have had otherwise. You can even order it or look that up while you're sitting in the booth at the restaurant. So I think that's really the biggest value, is that it doesn't cost you anything as a consumer, but you do get deals and save money out of it. And again, some of the deals are, the best deal available. It might mimic or be the exact same deal in a clipper. It might be better than that. But the good thing is that instead of getting it once per month or once per quarter, a lot of those deals you can redeem, multiple times within a month.
Got you. So is it similar to, I mean, it's if it's continuously available, it's not a Groupon model where you have a limited time basis to, redeem, or a limited quantity. So, I mean, you have that unlimited basis. So let's kind of, dig into a little bit more of the technology. Is it just a, here, show this to your server type of thing? But what sets my QuickSave apart? And, I mean, bringing in a company like Saison for geolocating, not only the consumer, but the opportunities or the offers. Tell us, let's dig into, how did my QuickSave get started, and, the technology ride.
Yeah, I'll give you the short story of we'll start in 2008, when the economy went to total crap. Back when the real estate market failed, all car dealerships, just horrible time period for businesses and consumers. It was sad. We as a company, weren't called QuickSave back in the day. We were working with other gentlemen called PA on the Web. We did a statewide run directory. So we worked with all types of local businesses around and put them on a website directory. That website directory was hitting about 1.2 million people per month. So we had a lot of traffic coming in. Some of our clients back then were like Sutliff Automotive, Hummer, Cadillac, Saab, Jeep. Saturn went out of business. We lost a lot of business at that time period. And we were trying to figure out how could we give a solution to people without having to be $3,000 a month or $1,500 a month. So I came up with an idea. I didn't really come up with the idea, but I saw a TV screen when I was visiting New York that had advertisements running on it. This is back when TVs were like $5,000. So I saw this TV and I went to one of our local grocery stores, Darren Camp's grocery store in Elizabethtown. And I asked Dave, I said, hey, do you mind if I have this idea about putting up a big 65-inch TV? He's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. I don't care. He didn't know much about technology, but he's like, I trust you, just don't break my glass. And I'm like, all right. So we put the TV up, and I was able to get people to advertise on that television for $99 a month. And that was very, very cost effective. A local plumber could put their ad up there. A real estate agent could put their ad up. Other local retail could put, ads up that would rotate like 15-second spots. And it was right in the spot where people were going to check out. That company grew within 6 months to 32 different locations, which was really awesome. But I kept the price point the same. You pay $99 a month for one, you pay $99 a month, and you have all 32. So that was kind of the idea. Fast forward a few years after that, I'm like, well, everyone has the new devices that have, their smartphones, things of that nature. We've evolved through that. And I was like, be kind of cool to have something similar to this that everyone has in their hand. And that's kind of where I started thinking about a mobile app, and never did a mobile app before. Made websites and familiar with search engine optimization, but that was new territory. So I had a conversation with one of my business consultants, and he had said there was a company that did something very similar to what I was thinking. And I ended up working with that company for a bit. They were a new startup. They're skilled skilled developers, but they're very green when it came to being able to go to the next level. I ended up buying them out and consolidating everything. And I had found Saison a few years back for another client that was doing a geolocated mobile app for their railroad, which is Strasburg Railroad. And Saison was able to take that to the next level and push it out. So I brought my project to Saison, and we pretty much scrapped everything and started fresh. So it was kind of a nice little thing, and that's where QuickSave was born. And it was pretty cool because on my birthday, 2 years ago, at like 7 o'clock at night, we were published to the iOS store, or to the App Store. So it was an awesome birthday present. I think it just happened, but I have to thank Bob from Saison for that.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So
Yeah.
when we look at the technology, I mean, just taking those TV screens from an in-store or an on-location perspective and putting it into the palm of people's hands, for your Samsung. Yeah, I've got your Samsung or your Apple device. I mean, that's one shift, right? By making an application. Now we have applications on our Microsoft devices as well with the Surface, technology, those type of things. But what really then, continues to evolve? I mean, a lot of people would say, okay, well, it's an app, big deal. What makes the technology that's kind of evolved very rapidly throughout the last decade? Because I remember in 2010 going to Verizon Wireless and was really excited to get my BlackBerry Bold, that had the keyboard on the bottom half of the device, and it had the screen, and it touch screen was just starting to develop. I think my wife's first smartphone was like a BlackBerry Curve or something like that. It was the first full screen, BlackBerry touch screen type device, and iPhones and this Curve and I'm maybe butchering the name of it, but so what technology really has my QuickSave kind of set apart from just your standard app or Google Maps page or those type of things?
Yeah, what we are doing right now, from the beginning. So after the rebuild, we were able to kind of forecast of what's coming out with new technologies. Saison's always on the edge of what's new and happening and what's coming out and planning for the future. So it's like building a website using, just standardized code back in the day, or Dreamweaver, and throwing something up, and then having mobile compliance. You come out and you're like, what's this? And you have to figure it out. Saison was, we pretty much put a strategy together. We know that 5G is coming out, and what does 5G have to offer for a lot of businesses, and making things lightning fast. I mean, that's an incredible speed. So we're adjusting our application for that as well. We're using augmented reality, being able to augment around your environment. So in real life, for those that haven't seen anything with augmented reality, I'll suggest go to YouTube, and I'll give a promo for living wine labels, or even Jack Daniel's augmented reality. We're doing that so the user can interact with their environments, whether it's product activation like Lancaster Brewing. We're going to be working with them, releasing out some awesome AR where you can scan the can of beer or the bottle of beer, and you'll have a 3D world that will pop out around it, not just the video that would play in midair. We do the video right now in the app with the iOS version. There's a local nonprofit which is fantastic. They're called Help the Fight. They're based out of Mountville. So we put window stickers out at all of our QuickSave locations that you can scan, and the Help the Fight message would play on that actual sticker.
Augmented reality, we talk about technology as a whole and play it to advertising. We talk about the speed of advertising. We talk about dwell time and interaction and engagement with your brand. And so as things are going, as time is evolving, as these data speeds are evolving, the amount of time you have to grab somebody's attention, right? It's all an attention game. And so you have to find creative ways to engage consumers, to engage people in what your brand is offering and what products and what the ask is, very, very quickly. And so, as a test bed for us as a development company, and as someone who tries to stay on the leading edge of what's possible and what's coming, we definitely leverage the opportunity to insert some augmented reality into the QuickSave application, and Christian was kind enough to lean into that. And in terms of where this is going, think about if there's a billboard and you're sitting in traffic, you may or may not know. It goes back to, again, data and ROI. You may not know how long is someone staring at that. Well, as time is going on, and things like 5G and augmented reality glasses and things like that come into our everyday life, everything could be an advertisement, and it will be tailored to you. You'll be able to track it, and it may not even be personal data, but it'll go, hey, it's a male, this is the age group, and based on the connectivity that we have and the data we're able to pull from their phone, they're into NFL football, they're into craft beer, they're into Italian restaurants. How do we go? Oh, based on their Amazon history, let's go and tailor advertisements. And so we're really getting into a place where boutique advertisement and bespoke advertising is really going to be the next generation, and leveraging this technology of augmented reality with the advent of the 5G data speeds is really going to be a game changer for a lot of businesses.
That is really, really cool. I mean, to consider that, as kids, we're growing up, right? And we haven't had the internet, invented for us. I graduated from high school in 1995, so it was just as the internet was, starting out. My very first email address was when I started in college, and it was a mainframe style screen. We were trying to make images out of the text characters and chain emails and those type of things. We've come a long way since then.
Oh, yeah.
To where we carry our phones around in our pockets. And so just the thought of being able to one, VR is definitely a technology that has been out for a little bit. You can put your phone, or you have the goggles and the device, and it makes you feel as if you're you're experiencing a virtual reality, and that's really, really cool. But for the thought of having glasses, and you're wearing glasses and walking up to a store, and you're reading, whatever posters may be there on the the front window, and for your glasses to start to present to you offers and those types of things. I think we're just at the beginning of that, and many people aren't really considering that as something that's right on the forefront and is about to deliver to consumers and start to experience that. I think it's still that there's instability in a lot of the different shifts. I mean, this is the Wild West. Technology and the speed that we're able to develop technology to support whatever, right? I mean, by leveraging technology and you guys applying it to the advertising space, and to really create that unique experience is really eye-opening, just from the standpoint of having that Google or Apple box in your pocket, being able to, based on your the apps that you use, what you have stated, and your user data, to literally present you a specific experience. And it could be, I'm assuming it's two different people looking at the same image, would have two completely different experiences and how they interact with that. Am I kind of picking up what you're laying down?
Yeah, I would say as of right now, with what we're doing, everyone would basically see the same thing. So if you're scanning a can of beer and it happens to be the hop hog, you're going to see the or not the groundhog, but the boar jump out of the can and do some wild stuff. And every instance for that campaign would be the same. But let's say that here in the near future, let's say that myself, you, and John, we went to a Texas Roadhouse and we see a table tent sitting out with QuickSave on it. We flip it over and there might be a State Farm agent. Well, based off of what your preferences are, you might see, okay, you have children, this, that, and other. Maybe the app would know that. Not saying we do now, but down the road, maybe. Not you particularly. I'm just saying for user. We don't take a lot of user information because we're very high on privacy with that. But let's say that you might like to golf. You might see an ad for golf. John, he likes Batman. He might see an ad for a movie for Batman. I myself, I like Batman, but maybe I also like the Hulk. So maybe I see something a little bit different than what you guys are seeing.
So some of the real customization, Chuck, that we kind of talked about is, there are, the mega Fortune 20 companies that are working on those types of transitions. And us, what we'll be able to do is kind of leverage that technology. So we partnered with Verizon in the past. And just as a, for instance, you mentioned virtual reality. There are blank advertisements, even now, blank spaces in mobile apps. And Verizon sells that space within that mobile game that you're playing for you to have an opportunity to experience tailored advertisements already based on data that you allow them to see when you agree to the terms of service on these mobile games. So in a small way, the customizations are already there. You just aren't aware of it. It's very subtle right now in terms of what they're able to do. And then, you as someone who develops an app would be able to purchase into or allow them for a fee. And Verizon, let's say, would pay you a portion based on your number of users in order to have those advertisements in your game. So, for instance, if you like Madden NFL on EA Sports, the next generation of Madden will, when you're in the stadiums, will just have blank in terms of the raw game. But based on your user data, your experience, you and I playing the same game versus your favorite team versus my favorite team, we would see different ads displayed within the stadium. So if you take that a step further, when you have augmented reality, and again, this is probably 2 to 3 years from mass adoption, right? There's a lot of challenges right now in terms of hardware and getting the data speed out, right? 5G is mainly a city metropolitan service available right now. But in the future, as it starts to spread and get adopted, you would really see the opportunity to see, just like you said, those custom ads. And in order to use the glasses, you would probably have to allow them a certain set of your data. And in order to do that, then they can leverage that for greater purposes. So we're a few years away from, Minority Report and being able to see custom things pop up, within contact lenses or within glasses. But the exciting part for a company is that you can measure the engagement. You can measure in terms of A/B testing on what ads work and what ads don't work. There'll be very sophisticated tools for you to measure, hey, this is a 10-second dwell time or length of engagement, or this was 45-second length of engagement. And that, I think, is what's really exciting. We've had some success supporting Optimum Nutrition with a virtual reality game at some of their trade shows. We went to the Arnold last year. Christian was there and kind of helped set it up for a company called Glanbia that owns Optimum Nutrition. And we developed a virtual world, so the goggles, and we were able to do custom branding, a branded game experience within that virtual reality headset. And again, we could measure, the company could measure the length of engagement, not only of the person within the headset playing the game, but also the people watching the person playing the game. And so there's just multiple levels of marketing opportunity now that we're seeing, and we're just at the cusp of it. So this will continually evolve over the next few years. But being able to lean in, and I think it's exciting for any level of business to be able to get engagement and get some hooks. Now that provides some challenges on the creativity side of things, right? Because you do need to stand out. But I think that that's all part of the fun, right?
And I'm thinking from a perspective, I mean, my wife and I are, we're in the real estate industry. So if I'm thinking of, you know, open houses, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So let's say somebody comes in and the start of the open house is, right, get your computer vision focused on this particular image. And then that image then kicks off this AR experience for the open house participant as they go through. Then they have, maybe in different rooms, they have different images that then, kicks off a new experience for them. Just the endless types of possibilities around different stores. I mean, you have, let's call it Home Depot, right? They have, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And as you go into, let's say, the plumbing department, and it's like, okay, you need to change, something on your plumbing. You take a picture on the package, or I'm just thinking of wild and crazy ideas to where it says, okay, here's how this is used, and here are the other accessories that you need in order to accomplish changing out this particular part in your home repair project, or many different opportunities. And comparing AR to a lot of what we're seeing with voice being Alexa technology, or those types of things. I mean, we've in real estate, we've seen, you could say, okay, Alexa, tell me about this room. And as you're going through an open house, and Alexa via voice will then describe the room and the experience, and what you've got at open houses. And people are leveraging that type of technology. So it's exciting to see much of the developments and how you're able to apply technology directly to user related experiences, via cookies and other data that other websites, etc., are storing onto the phone. And that, again, it's terms of service, as you mentioned, John, whether it's a game, or even with the changes in much of the for websites, you have to have that communication, that there is data that we are collecting for you coming here to visit our site, and you need to disclose that. But so if somebody was interested in exploring this in more depth, right? What would be a good scenario that this might be a good fit for, either for a business locally to reach out and see, is this an opportunity with working with either QuickSave or Saison?
Yeah, I would say either or. Let's say that you as a realtor and you come to us as QuickSave, you're not going to offer a coupon. Yeah, I don't think you can do a coupon off of a house. Hey, save 10% off your house. And that's not going to happen. That'd be really cool. But
Yeah, right.
so let's say that we wanted to get your name out there. So let's say, for instance, we work with Texas Roadhouse on Lincoln Highway. When we're not in the moment of now with the things that we're going through on a normal basis, they get anywhere between, I think, 8 to 10,000 people per week, which is a lot of people that go there to dine. Out of their 60 tables that we have there, we put out advertisements like a table tent. And we have an opportunity to have an exclusive advertiser on that table tent with QuickSave. And it might have a message from you as a realtor, as a printed piece. And as an augmented piece, we might have something that, a trivia thing that might pop up, and have the customer say, hey, I'm going to engage with this advertisement. So print is very, very strong in with digital as well, because we have to have an image to activate. That's where print comes into play. A lot of people were like, well, print's dead. I'm like, no, print's very much alive. I know, but the idea would be to get your face out there in front of everyone and maybe interact with them. So they've taken that ad, they've looked at it instead of just saying, oh, okay, there's a dude. Now they've engaged with it. They've watched a video. They've interacted with something. They're showing their friends at the table, hey, dude, check this out. This is really cool. And then they might take the table tent home, and which I find that they do, because we've been doing that with Help the Fight. And I'll go in on a normal time and have to replace 60 table tents within a 2-week time period because someone is taking them. Sometimes they get dirty, but most of the time, we'll find that people have taken them home with them, which is kind of cool. I don't mind reprinting. They're spreading the word.
Yeah, and then absolutely, and again, we talk about that uniqueness in terms of engagement. Again, not quite there yet, but the opportunity for you as a realtor or businesses like that is, wow, are you in the market for a new home? Click yes. And then maybe you have videos of 2 or 3 properties that could then play, again, kind of enriching that advertisement to the next level. And you have a walkthrough of a property, or maybe it has a link to Zillow or to your website or to whatever that is, and it's a launching ground for you to then capture leads as a local business. So you're like, wow, someone looked at this at the Texas Roadhouse, and then that sent them to my website. If you have the proper tools in place on your website, you can then capture them as a lead or gather that information and then follow up. So again, the way the engagement or level of engagement can start, all businesses need sales. And I think that advertising and engagement are, like this, like augmented reality, whether it's through QuickSave or another platform, are really, that is where things are going. And, the more leads you have, as an entrepreneur, the better.
No, I agree. And looking at it from a perspective, I mean, right now, my wife and I, we offer, virtual reality house hunting where, you're at work and you have a list of homes that you'd like to see in a non-distancing environment, right? That where we could actually go to somebody else's house, but we would actually do the home tour leveraging VR video technology, that we're able to do that walkthrough, upload it to our client's portal, and have them, put their phone into VR goggles and or use the touch screen elements for virtual reality videography, and they're able to see it without the distortions that you may see in a typical real estate photography. So I'm just thinking, we actually refer to it as VR house matching, because we're matching you to the home in virtual reality. The challenge is now with a a virus, we can't physically go into somebody's house, and we don't want to have that physical connection. So it's something, as we start to come out of this and the distancing requirements are alleviated, that we then have the opportunity to, whether somebody has concerns, and there's still going to be this apprehension to having so many people come, marching through your home. And I think in the real estate industry, it's an outdated approach that has a number of different risks involved. I mean, yes, somebody's seeing all your contents and they can come in and whatever. So we're already on that train of leveraging technology to advance our business. It's really cool to see that, you guys are joined together to be able to offer this from a, business and an advertising perspective. What would be the best way for someone to, get in touch with you guys and see if this might be an opportunity for them to help advertise their business, leveraging the technology that you guys are, really on the cutting edge of?
Go to myquicksave.com and give us a call or shoot us an email, or the same thing with Cezanne. Go to Cezanne. We have an automated bot I think John popped that in there. They're going to be releasing their new website soon. Hopefully, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's right. So Seisan is SEISAN.com. Again, would be able to build a mobile app or augmented reality solution or application for you. Obviously, we have partners like QuickSave where it would make more sense to leverage what we've already built for them. But for folks that are looking for building their own unique mobile app or other enterprise web application, that's where we would go. There's a contact us page there, or you can do BD at Seisan, SEISAN.com.
Of all the questions and the conversation we've had so far, what was the question that I should have asked but didn't?
You see how slow dial-up was compared to what we have now. So if you imagine the dial-up and then going into high-speed internet, that's a huge jump. Now, if we look into cell phone usage with 3G, you're like, okay, cool. I can download a movie. It might take, 24 hours to download that movie, which is insane. But back in the day, you're like, oh, that's fast. And then with 4G technology coming out where that 24-hour or whatever movie now could be downloaded in 5-6 minutes, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Well, with 5G technology, you can download the entire movie in about 3.6 seconds. That's how big of a difference that 5G is going to make for everywhere. A lot of people are freaking out about it, saying it'd be bad or whatever. There's a lot of things that are, if you don't know, you're going to be scared of it. So the things that we will see in our generation will be amazing. Self-driving cars, like that's a thing that can definitely happen with 5G. The sharing of real-time data. So when we're doing a conversation on Zoom, it's like no lag at all. The power it can have in medical, there's companies in Lancaster that are doing some fantastic work with medical all over the spots. But if you can imagine a doctor being in Los Angeles that's a specialized doctor for cancer or something of that nature, being able to virtually operate on someone in Australia using virtual hands that are going in for using robotics, that's a thing. That's an amazing thing that we're going to be able to witness. So there's some cool stuff happening.
Yeah, I would say not necessarily a question, but more and more, a lot of people associate Lancaster just with the Amish, right? In my experience, as we're going around and talking about all the things that Seisan has done, it's wow, you guys are in Amish country, like why? But I think more and more Lancaster is being recognized as a technology hub, and I think that we are really, really excited to participate in all of the different tech meetups and coding challenges that happen in the area. Lancaster is a happening place, and we're really excited as a technology company to see it grow, to engage in the technology community, and to be able to participate in a meaningful way, and also leverage that to local small businesses and even local medium businesses. We work with everybody from Verizon down to the local mom and pop shops, and I think it's just exciting to watch people lean into technology, particularly in a place that, in terms of adopting new things, maybe is a little more conservative.
No, absolutely. I mean, Lancaster, I think the stat I read in the last year was, Lancaster is the fourth, largest tech city in the state of Pennsylvania. So there's definitely there is a technology hub here in the Lancaster market, and we're seeing that with people that are looking to relocate to Lancaster, and they're looking for those aspects. People moving from Seattle or even Silicon Valley. I mean, Austin, Texas, and a lot of these startup type incubator cities, finding and landing, finding a home here in Lancaster, to have options like what you guys are doing, and being able to work with companies on the forefront of technology is just, it's an attribution to, Lancaster continue to rise in, technology space here in Pennsylvania as a whole, but also in the country. So, I mean, it takes guys like you to help, continue putting our wonderful city onto the map. So, any final words?
If you have an opportunity, please download QuickSave. If you go to myquicksave.com, you have 2 links there, one for iOS, one for Android or Play Store. Download it. Support your local businesses. Costs you absolutely nothing to do that. And I know right now with everything that we're dealing with being stuck at home, there's a ton of great businesses on there for takeout, like Lancaster Brewing Company, Texas Roadhouses, Two Cousins Pizza in Lancaster. A lot of guys that are down that area. We also reach up into Harrisburg, Hershey, Elizabethtown, and we're growing. Or if you have a small business and you want to be on the app, give us a call. We'll take care of you.
Okay. And what's the best number for them to reach you?
It's an evil number. I'm going to spout it out here. It is 717-381-5666.
And John, any final words? No, I just wanted to thank you, Chuck, for the opportunity. It's always great to be able to engage in this beautiful community that we all have and we all live in, and to participate, as well as having a medium to talk about the cool things that are coming in technology as a technologist myself, but also the cool things that are happening in Lancaster in technology. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys, and definitely places that you can meet guys like Christian and John and other business owners that are doing real neat things. We do have a monthly networking event called Rockstar Connect Lancaster. You can find us on Facebook, Eventbrite, as we're holding virtual events right now, as we're being distanced physically from other people, but we're actually leveraging technology to continue networking and building your sphere of influence. So check us out. And thanks again for joining us here on Lancaster Buzz. We look forward to seeing you guys real soon.
And thank you.